All right, we're live. What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And well, we have got a show for you today. Usually we are in the bass world, but this year Norman and I talked about it, and we're wanting to get into the crappie world. We're wanting to get into catfishing and other kinds of fishing. But being in the crappie world, we cannot ask for a better person to start out the year and to ask questions about crappie fishing. And as you can tell who it is, we got Mr. John Godwin on here, and it's going to be a phenomenal episode, guys. And but if you don't know, guys, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm Norman Lee. That's right, Colin. But first things first, we have to talk about a sponsor for tonight's episode. Sponsoring tonight's episode is Cornfield Fishing Gear, electronic mounting brackets you can trust, rock solid engineering, safe and secure, giving you a peace of mind knowing you can focus more on fishing and less about the security of your investment. Whether you're running single or dual units, from the console to the bow, they have the brackets that will suit your fishing style. Fully adjustable mounts made, produced, and manufactured right here in the USA. For more information on Cornfield Fishing Gear, contact us on our Deck Top Podcast website at www.decktoppodcast.com or contact Cornfield Fishing Gear on their website at www.cornfieldfishinggear.com. Colin, man, that is right, and we are both excited about this episode and this man we have coming on as our guest tonight. But anyway, without further ado, let's start. Let's get this cool cat introduced. Our guest tonight, well, he grew up an avid deer hunter, but once he was introduced to the world of waterfowl, he became infatuated with duck calls as a teenager. He placed third in his first calling contest and has worked for Duck Dynasty has worked for Duck Commander. Building calls since 2002. He has been a part of some hit shows such as The Duckman, The Art of Duck Commanding Ducks, The Best of the Duckman, and the world famous hit television series Duck Dynasty. When he puts down the rifle and picks up a rod, you can hear all ducks from miles around breathe a sigh of relief as his crappie skills are unmatched by most, winning countless tournaments, including the Crappie Masters Lake Fork Invitational in 2015. The man known around the world simply as Godwin, John Godwin. What is going on?
What's up, brother?
What's up?
How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all having me on. I love doing these things.
Right.
Oh, man.
It has been an honor to be able to get you on here, and we've been fortunate to be able to meet you. I guess it was about 3 or 4 years ago at ICAST, and be able to talk to you. And since we started the podcast, we kind of, nothing against crappie fishing. I love crappie fishing, but we kind of just stick with the bass because that's what we typically will do. And but to be able to have you as one of our first crappie guides, and especially the first crappie guide of the new year, it is an honor to have you on here, brother.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all. I like that write-up, Norman. That's pretty good. I might have to look you up after we hang up.
We've had a few people that said we're going to need you to hand that over, especially like when some of the Bassmaster Elite said we need to have you hand that stuff over to Mercer and just let Mercer just announce us onto the stage that way.
That's right.
So John, what have you been up to here the past little bit that with the holidays and stuff like that? Were you able to spend a lot of time with the family and
done that? eat a bunch, and
That's part of it, isn't it?
or I can't eat my sweets no more because I got last year. They told me I went and got my annual wellness check
Right.
and left there and went to ICAST. And she called me and said, "You need to get back in here." I said,
Oh.
"Well, I'll see you in a week." He said, "Well, where you at?" I said, "I'm in Florida at ICAST." I said, "Why
Yeah.
ain't you here? You know, everybody's here." And, but anyway, uh, she said my A1C
Yeah.
was real high and to not eat no sweets.
Oh man.
Man, let me tell you, if I had a big old glass of milk, whole milk, not that old 2% mess, and
No, you
18
got to have that
pecan
whole milk.
pies, yeah,
Yeah.
18 pecan pies, I could get down.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. And I know I was tempted this morning. I got back from work and I drive a truck for McKee Foods, which is actually Little Debbie. So we deliver the storage units and then the vendors
Mm.
take it out to the stores.
How
And
many
so I got
Christmas
back
tree
this.
cakes you eat?
Oh man, I tell you, I'm tired of seeing Christmas tree cakes, John. It's
Yeah,
it.
you can't beat that. I don't believe you.
Man, when you go out, uh, like we have one stop in Mount Oreb, Ohio, which is about 25 miles east of Cincinnati. That one stop here, we were delivering about 700 to 900 cases of the Christmas trees, and each case has 15 cartons in it like you would buy at the store. We were delivering 700 to 900 of them, and it's
Yeah.
just throwing them. I'm tired of seeing them. But this morning I was tempted. uh, I was so tempted to hit the. On my way home, I could swing by a Krispy Kreme and pick up some hot Krispy Kreme
Woo.
donuts. I almost. There's nothing like it.
I know my sister makes the best apple fritters,
Oh
Haskell's
Oh, I love
donuts,
oh
apple fritters.
man.
Man.
Haskell's donuts in Monroe and West Monroe. And she said, "Share my post. We're gonna be open tomorrow night or whenever it was, New Year's Eve at 10
Right.
o'clock." And people started lining up.
Oh man.
Boy, they did. Whew.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I need to get down there just to go try some apple fritters. I'm not afraid to drive for some good food. So,
yeah, they're good.
so, but let's see. We got one question says, "What's up, John? Do you and the Duck Dynasty guys even hunt together anymore?"
Yeah, we do.
Yep. So, um, how speaking of hunting and the outdoors, how did you get your start? I mean, because I know with talking to you prior to it, like you started when you was a knee high to a grasshopper. So, but how did you get your start into being in the outdoors for your love of the outdoors?
I'm going to say, uh, and this is a challenge to all you parents out there. I'm not going to say fathers uh, with your kids. I think it's my dad because
Yeah,
I can always remember being in the woods or in the aluminum boat, and uh, I remember he'd come get me from school, and I don't know, first grade. And I'm 62, and I still remember this fond memory because the Thanksgiving holidays, and it was going to be dough day, you know. Back then they had
right.
dough days. I don't know how many
Hmm.
people remember that, but
Yeah,
we'd head to the deer camp, and we just had ladder stands. We didn't have shooting houses or box stands or whatever. And he'd
right.
rake the leaves away from the tree, sit me there, and he'd give me one of his big old coats. Of course, it was like a blanket to me then, you know. And I'd sit down at the bottom of the tree, and he'd drop stuff, you know, trash down when he'd see deer, try to point them out to me. but it would be too thick. I didn't see them all the time, and man, but one thing I hated that he did, we'd go fishing, and he'd throw all the fish in the ice chest with the cokes. And you had tiny coke. I hated
Yeah.
it. He said, "Get man." He said, "Wipe it off and drink like an hour, and he taught me how to be safe with firearms and what to
Yeah.
look for in the woods, deer sign, squirrel sign, and what to look out for, the dangers. And when I finally got to be in a duck blind with Phil Robertson, I didn't act like a yahoo because Dad had
Right.
told me how to act. And
Right.
so I got invited back again and again and again and again. And now here I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That it's 5:30.
I set my alarm to go check my email.
So uh but how was that being in a blind with Phil? Because I mean, I can just imagine the TV show really did not, in my opinion, could not show everything that you can learn in a duck blind just with
Yeah.
sitting in the duck blind with Phil.
Well,
So how is the experience with sitting in a duck blind with him?
the first time, because it was about 8 of us. Of course, he had the lake blind, we called it. It had 3 sides to it. You could
Right.
shoot 24 men out of it if it was full.
Wow.
Of course, we
Wow.
just swapped ends with the wind, but
Right.
and that's what side we hunted because of the wind. But it was big. Had bunk beds, had an oven, had a stove, and that was kind of intimidating going in, seeing something like that, And
Right.
because the first time I told myself, I said, when he says cut him or calls it, I ain't cheating. I'm just fixing to watch this bunch because there was a lot of. I'd never hunted with that many people before, and he called it. Everybody raised up and shot, and I said, "Okay, I got it going on here," because they was raining out and everybody was shooting their lane. You kind of know where to shoot. The
Right.
ends shoot the ends, and one's leaving, and you just keep going to the middle. The middle
Right.
blind shoots ones on the water first, because to get them up and get them going, and it
Right.
just goes out from there. But after hunting, 25 years, 26, well, more than that, 20, God, 30 years. Whew. Uh, you just kind of know what each other's going to do.
Right. Right. Yeah. So you said something about that y'all in that blind that y'all will whatever you'll rotate to wherever the wind. So is with duck hunting, it's similar to like how with fishing and stuff. Like we tend to fish more of the wind blown banks. I know, especially like in bass fishing. Excuse me. To where that wind's going to blow that bait up against that bank. Um, so, what is it with the wind and duck hunting that makes you want to turn towards the wind
You
or
want your
turn with the wind?
wind in your face or to your side, never
Right,
blowing at your back. I mean, never blowing at you in the face, because
right,
ducks like into the wind. They use their wings like an airplane to come in there and
right.
light. That's what they use. So they always light into the wind. I have seen some mornings they come in there with the wind, which is pretty sporty, but they're getting it. Uh,
Yeah,
but most of the time they come in with the wind. So you want the wind at your face or from left to right or right to left.
Yeah.
right. Now, with hunting with that many people in a duck blind, how many times if you go out there with Cy that he's saying that he shot ducks that really he didn't really shoot?
Every day. Hey, let me tell you a story. So we're tail hunt, early tail season. In September, we get 16 days to hunt them blue wings come down. Few green, but mostly
Right.
blue wings. And we'd sit there hunted 3 days because our spot we don't pump it up because if you pump it up before the big duck season, then the woodies eat you out of house and home. So
Right.
we don't pump it up till middle of October. So whatever's there, the tail will get on. They like your mud flats anyway. But we ain't seen, so we more or less have a hole that we catch them on flight days, and we don't just hold them. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, we'd hunted 4 days. We killed one, two, and one day 11 of them come in a bunch. They watered up right before they lit. Ba 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 ba. We just smoked every one of them. And Phil said, "I don't know about y'all, but I went 3 for 3 on that bunch." And I know I killed two. The guy beside me killed two. And Jay said he killed three going out. So we didn't pick up all the ducks that was out there evidently. Because Side said, all I know is there's a lot of ducks laying on the water in front of me. So I think I killed six.
When 11 flew in.
Bill says, well, what about them men on the left and right of you? He said, that's what I'm talking about. If I didn't come, y'all wouldn't kill nothing. He's like that every day.
Oh, it's
Every
funny.
day.
That's,
He's worse
yeah,
than what you see on TV.
oh,
But
I
y'all can
can only
turn it off.
imagine.
I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Got a question. Actually, got a couple of them from a couple of the guys that's watching. Um, John Pate says it's good to see you on the show, John. Question for you: how is Phil Robertson doing lately, and what is your plans for the future?
Well, Phil's doing pretty good. Wow, it's pretty. I don't know, sad, but
Yeah,
to see somebody like that get a chink in his armor, but he's doing good. He's stable. His
yeah.
The worst thing that's bothering him 3 years ago, we was gonna put a boat in the ditch, and just a loan boat with a mud motor on it, and couldn't get it out. It wasn't deep enough. Wouldn't come off the trailer. So he leaned down under the front of the boat with his back and picked up with it and broke his back.
Ooh.
Broke
Oh,
it. And it started to bother me again. They put that cement in there. He said, Doc, you gonna do what? They said, we're gonna put some cement in them joints and it's gonna relieve your pain. He said, cement. I'm around a lot of water.
yeah. I can see. I can just you talking. I can see his brain just them wheels just a
Oh yeah.
spinning.
Oh, yeah. He gets on us about them computers too. He said,
Yeah,
I don't get it.
yeah, and the phones.
Yeah. He said he said, I don't know. Y'all say that's the most time saving instrument in the world, but y'all sit in front of them for 8 hours.
Right,
I said, well, wouldn't get some of
yeah,
these orders if we didn't sit in front of them.
right. Now, Jamie Jones says around here on Chickamauga, people leave their duck blinds up all year, and we catch a lot of crappie around them in the spring. Is that the same way in Louisiana?
Well, there is some lakes with duck blinds on them, but mostly we have leased land, fields, and stuff like
Right.
that. So we don't have there's about 3 or 4 lakes that have that, and that is true. Because you think they're
Right.
throwing stuff out right there, brush is falling off down in there. It's a
Right.
great piece of structure to get some big ones.
Yeah. Now, the lakes and stuff around there, are they kind of like shallow water, like swampy lands, or is it do you actually have some deep bodies of water there?
Oh yeah, we got a Lake Darbone. It's one of the oldest and one of my favorites, and a lot of crappie tournaments there, a lot of bass tournaments there. It's got a it's in a bottom and it's got a river. Bio Darbone runs through it,
Yeah.
but it's got 20, 30, 40 foot water in it,
Yeah.
in the channel.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, wasn't Lake Darbone one of the lakes that the Bass Pro Tour was at a couple years ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They caught it at the wrong time of year, February, early February. They went
Yeah.
to Caney too. Caney's deep. It's got 40, 50 foot
Yeah.
of water in it.
All right. Wow.
And it's got a lot of black crappie in it. There's a white crappie and a black crappie. And
Yeah.
the black crappie like clear water. They like structure more,
Yeah.
whereas white crappie tend to just float around out in the open water sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Because around here, like we mainly just have black crappie around us. There we do have some white crappie, but you don't catch them as much as what you would the black crappie. And every now and then we'll catch them magnolia crappies or black nose crappies, what some people may call them. And those things are pretty interesting to see. Just that big old stripe
Yeah,
going down there.
racing
So
stripe. They like to
that's
go back.
it. So when you're crappie fishing, because I know you've crappie fished, I mean, around the United States. I mean, you've gone a lot of places just to crappie fish. Um, how do you go to prepare yourself for a tournament on like when you're going? How do you prepare yourself like during
Somewhere I've
practice and
never
stuff?
been or something.
Right,
I'll check the internet for one thing and see if there's any how's the crappie fishing on that lake? Is it a brush pile lake? Is it a structure lake, or is it just an open water lake? And
right,
I'll look at the weather forecast to see where I can fish, and because you want to be able to put in or be able to fish an area where the wind's not going to just be too bad on you.
Right.
right,
So, and then I just, the time of year, whether it's spring, summer, or fall, what pattern they're in. Like right now, they're in the deep water pattern. They all go into that deeper water or hanging close to it. They'll get up on them
yeah,
shelves, during the middle of the day. Right now is what's happening. And
right,
they're still 20 foot deep. That's about the shallowest I'm catching them. And the water might be deeper, but they're hanging around 20 foot.
Right. Right.
Or if it's
yeah,
spring, I'll start looking in the coves, in the bays, from the middle to the back, and see where I'm gonna start getting a lot of bites, or more bites, or bigger fish bites, stuff like that. Or in the summer, I'm gonna be out in the mouth of them, out in the main lake, more closer to the
right,
dam, maybe.
Right.
Whereas in the
yeah,
spring, you want to go upriver to the rivers. It just seems like all that sediment coming in from creeks or a river that feeds a lake, it's more fertile up there, and you're gonna find your bigger fish up that way.
Right.
right. Yeah, because I know my dad and I went out last week and we went to go do some crappie fishing, and typically the we can go back in to one of the sloughs and be able to catch them off of docks and stuff. But we we tell them that Lake Chickamauga has a bunch of crappie in it, but they got to be 10 inches to keep. But the whole lake has nothing but 9 3/4 inch crappie. So, but we but we found a bunch of shorts, and then I made a move and went back into uh, the mouth of this creek. Probably went about 200 yards into this mouth of this creek, and found them in about 25 to 30 foot of water. That you could see them only on the. You could see them schooling up on the sonar,
Yeah.
but then I was able to kind of really pick them apart with my forward facing sonar. But once you started getting that bait and getting it up a little bit above them, you just see the whole bottom just kind of just lift up when that bait got down in there. They were just, and so, which was kind of interesting. My dad, he usually fishes in the back of the boat, so he doesn't really get to see too much of the forward facing sonar when we're bass fishing. But when crappie fishing, I was able to tell him and point him out to where the fish are, and he was still missing fish, John. I'm telling you, I mean, you take them, you buy their books, send them to school, and they still don't learn anything.
All the corners all the way. Had to put it in
So,
the penalty box for that.
that's right. That's right. So, how much does the forward facing sonar do you use when you're crappie fishing? Because I know crappie fishing took the forward facing sonar and ran with it when it came out about 8 years ago and really started getting to the public. So, how much of your fishing do you use that forward facing sonar?
I do a pretty good bit. I love it. I like
Yeah.
it. Man, it's taught me a lot. But the
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that just surprised me, the first day I put it on the water in Darbone, I could see fish running from me. And I was like, I don't know where we ever catch these things. They running already. But
Yeah.
I heard a lot of guys say Darbone is the only place like that. So I don't know
Right.
what it is, but them fish are pretty spooky. Of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
crappie fishermen down here too,
Yeah.
so that might have one thing to do with it. But I don't know. But I enjoy it. You
Yeah.
know, I find myself not keeping fish more than keeping them.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'll keep a couple of Ziploc bags, in the freezer, unless my daughter comes and gets a couple of them. Then I have to. She's
Go get
always
some.
she's a thief, crappie
Yeah.
thief.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
it's not the necessarily. But I still one of my favorite ways to fish is long lining.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love doing that,
Yeah.
and
Now,
I'm fixing to start using these Jim church. I got to find out his name. He sent me some of his paddle boards, and some of my friends are using them, and they're saying, "Man, it opened up a new world."
wow.
So I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's your setup on the front of the boat for your forward facing sonar? Because you just released about 2 or 3 weeks ago. You released a box, revealing a box opening video on some product you just received for your forward facing sonar from Cornfield. So, explain a little bit
Yeah,
about
yeah,
what your setup
man,
is.
that thing done. I must have been getting a little bit of something interference or whatever with the regular, that comes with it, the
Right.
mount to the because I got
Yeah.
it on my pole on my trolling motor.
Yeah.
And
Right.
this is called the switchback. It sticks out. It's 0 degree, and it sticks out away from your pole on you that goes to your head.
Yeah.
But I seems
Right.
like I can see much clear. I don't know what it is. It does that. But that thing, let me tell you, it's built out of steel.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, you hit a stump with that going down there, you tear the stump up. You
yeah.
don't tear your mess up.
Yeah. And that was
That,
from Cornfield Fishing Gear, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
that,
Oh, Mike,
that,
look, I took him on fishing at the demo days right before that, and he didn't even hardly fish. We was long line. He had a tape measure out. He's measuring my boat. I got that Sea Art Flex, and he's
mhm.
thinking, what can I? What, he's looking around, getting tape measure out, tape measuring these. Man, he's trying building stuff for that boat. And man, it was something. It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. He built me a deal to go in the rails. I don't even know what you call it. I don't think they got a name for it. But my Millennium rod holders bolt, the holes match up, so you can just bolt it down to it, and it's on the
Right.
side of my gunnel. It's perfect because it's kind of on the side, so I don't have to take them off if I'm gonna do my forward facing sonar because there's
Right.
nothing in front to mess me up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mom,
Yeah.
you need something for mounts, knob. He makes some bigger aluminum knobs to go on your
Yeah.
duck
Those
mount,
are
Oh yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah.
and they don't come loose neither. You
Nope.
ain't constantly have. They don't vibrate. No, no.
Yeah.
And
He does
it's
it right.
we've got some cornfield mounts and stuff on our boats, and talking about a game changer. Once we put them on, I used to have a just a ram mount and stuff at my console. I just got a Bass Tracker 190 TX that I've decked out. Um, but I was constantly, we go and hit, especially during the summer, you got all these wake boats and stuff that are out on the lake. You hit them waves, boom, boom, and the mounts just fall over. So you're constantly having to tighten them up.
You ain't
And
doing it with these.
no, I've never had to. The only thing that I've had to do is when I put my cover on my boat, I've got to unscrew it to be able to move the mount in to put my
Yeah,
cover on. Other than that, um, and then we've got one for Norman and myself have the one that that's at the bow that we can
hold on.
telescope it, be
Yeah.
able to move it down up,
Mhm.
and that especially with standing up at the deck, and I mean it's right there. I mean, it's out of the way of where you're casting and everything, but it's right there to where it's easy to look at. And that thing, I've left that sucker up going down the river and just pounding. That thing just it don't even move. I was very impressed with how the quality of the the durability of having them mounts on. I mean, and we do videos on it, and we tell people all the time, if you're tired of going out spending money on mounts, go to Cornfield. This is the last mount that you'll ever have to buy.
Yeah.
It is. That's how I get up the boat. When I going down there to get in my boat, I grab a
Yeah,
hold to it and pull myself up in the boat.
it's not
I'm
going
kind of
nowhere.
short legged.
I'm right there with you. So, but speaking of the demo days, Cornfield demo days, uh, are you going to be at the
I'm gonna
demo
be
days here?
there. I was
And it,
impressed with the first one. I'm telling you, we
yeah,
got and all the pro staff pulled in the boat, slips and tied off, and the people come down. And I was surprised at how many people showed up. It was a lot,
yeah,
and you can get in our boats and see how we got them set up, and we can give you pointers on how to set your boat up, or you might have something to tell us that might help us.
yeah,
We ain't
yeah.
thought about, but you can get in the boat. We got our forward facing sonar. I was catching fish out from under the dock, the walkway, and showing people how to float grams. It was fun. But,
Yeah, I yeah, that's going to be April 25th to the 26th, guys, on
Yeah.
Kentucky Lake,
be there
and
or be
that's
square.
yeah, and the three of us are going to be there, and it's going to be a blast. I've talked to a couple people that were there last year, John, and just like what you said, it was a blast. They really enjoyed it, and then this uh, we t- we got Cornfield to sponsor the podcast, uh, and so just being able to talk to people, and it's interesting with having the product on the boat, um, with how like it draws people to your boat. I mean, because they'll see it, the mounts, and they're like, these are different. And there's no telling how many people I have talked to about just the mounts. And I'm like, you haven't seen nothing yet. You just need to go to the website. I was like, my console will not hold their double mounts uh, and everything. So I just have like just one single mount at my console, and I was like, "But you need to check them out. They've got mounts for everything. They're coming out.
Everything.
That new mount that they came out with actually here last week for the ice fishermen. Did you see that? To where
I
the
seen
to where
something, but I ain't. Yeah, tell you, I ain't. I ain't walking out there on that. No,
well,
no.
I'm right there with you. I mean, if unless I mean
I
I
seen pictures of Mark in there in a house on the ice with a heater on.
yeah,
Heat
yeah.
melts ice.
Last time I checked, it did.
I ain't doing. No,
No,
our
no,
water don't
it's
get hot.
no. So,
They say all the
uh,
time we drive trucks out there. I said, I know. I see it on the news when they pulling them out.
well,
I ain't doing it.
well, I mean, you might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night, right? So,
Banana boat
yeah,
works for me.
yeah, I've had people talk to me like, "Hey, you need to come up here to Minnesota or wherever and do some ice fishing." And I said that God put me in the South for a reason, and I anything that has to do with frozen water, I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
It ain't even good
but
for some people.
so you I do want to talk though about your hunting and stuff like that, because Norman kind of hit on it a little bit that people know you from Duck Dynasty and all the other television shows and stuff, and so they associate you with just duck hunting.
Yeah.
So what other hunting and stuff that you do uh, to that's out there that just to kind of just all right. Uh, I'm getting an echo. But what
I
other
don't
kind of
know.
hunting do you do?
I deer hunt. Well, my woman deer hunts. She's eat up. She wants to kill them all. I got to
I,
whole rein her in. She got all riled up over these deer about 5 years ago, and I ain't shut it down yet. She just said she never. I've been trying to get her. She loves to shoot a bow, and she loves to bow hunt. That's about all. She will gun hunt, but she loves bow hunt. And
yeah,
she finally went with me, and she said, "I think I want to shoot a deer, so but I ain't getting in no stand." And so I fixed up a ground blind down there at Fields, and first morning, boom, she shoots one. And that just lit the candle, boy. And all since then. But it's fun watching her learn, seeing
yeah.
things that you take for granted, like hearing a deer grunt some behind you, or just seeing the woods wake up every morning and hearing the birds,
Nothing like it.
stuff like that. It's just that you've done just seen it so much, it ain't nothing, not that whole lot to you.
Yeah.
You don't think about it being something that spectacular, but it really is.
Yeah. Now, how about
Yeah,
how about turkey hunting? There was one episode that I watched. Of course, I watched most all of them. But there's one episode on Duck Dynasty where you were turkey hunting, and one of the most funniest episodes that I think I've watched.
That
Uh,
was fine,
where,
man.
where Cy actually had his own decoy out there, and that was hilarious. But how about turkey
Yeah,
hunting?
yeah, that's during the crappie spawn.
Right.
That'd be a
yeah.
no for me. I wasn't in
Negative.
that episode.
So,
But no, I did it one time, but man, you can only do so much,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, you
Doing
don't need to
all
spread yourself thin.
that. And now I'm fixing to start this crappie garden, so that's gonna
I
be
do want. So you started a guide service, and what is it?
Godwin
Godwin's
guy,
God. Yep,
Godwin
Godwin's guide
guy.
service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
So
one.
we will put that in the description and stuff. So if y'all want to to holler at Godwin and have him take you out, because I imagined. I mean, it is going to be a learning experience, and it's going to be something else. I may have to go on there and book a trip myself. So because it's something about going and just learning different techniques and stuff like that, and just learning different things. Um, it's just something else for me that I just love the fact of, and even just having you on and just having you talk about stuff. It's been I just really enjoy the learning experience. But guys, make sure though that you do check out his guide service, and let's book him up. Except for April 25th through the 26th. And then for ICAST, I got to make sure we see him at the demo days, and I got to see him at ICAST. I've
Yeah.
seen him at ICAST
I
every
don't
year.
know what that date is. I need to put that on my calendar.
Yeah, it's July something.
Yeah.
But so let's book him up, and because right now we've got 1,300 people on here, so I mean that'd book you up for a while if
Oh, yeah.
if
Can't take them
so.
all at one time.
No.
I don't got that many life jackets.
So with with duck hunting, have you ever, or I know you have, how many bands do you have, or do you even count them?
Bands. Yeah, I got about 7. Not that many.
Yeah.
About 7.
Yeah.
Phil's got a string. I don't know how many he's got. Bunch. But they killed a bunch of
Yeah.
ducks BC before Christ.
Right. So, have you ever had the sandhill cranes?
I have. Ribeye in the sky.
See,
If
and
one gets close to you and it's legal to shoot him, you need to shoot him. Shoot him and eat him. You'll go,
so
what in the world?
that I've heard that from many people that it is the fillet in the sky, and we had somebody on Justin Hamner. We had Justin, I think that's who it was, and he said that that he didn't care too much for it.
Yeah, you
So
can't cook.
that's probably what it is. He can win a classic, but he can't cook.
Yeah.
But so, and do you do any kind of gator hunting?
No, that's more south of us. I mean, it's starting to get up here because there's getting a big bunch of them up here. But no, I mean, I went to Florida and did it on Okeechobee.
Right,
And with one of my sponsors, Jeff Smith, Crappie Magnet,
Right.
and
right.
one of the rep guys, golly, I can't think of his name. He's gonna get mad at me. But anyway, we had a great time. It was fun. I,
Yeah,
but they don't like in Louisiana. You can use a hook and a chicken, but in Florida you can't. So and you're able to call them. You go out there and you call them, and they say it's like the sound of a baby gator, and
really.
gators will just start coming. So, and you got a big old 2 ounce weight on a treble hook, and you throw and catch him, and you're just catching him with. Then you got to gaff him and all that stuff, and
Right.
I throwed the hook and I jerked and got him, and then he like to pull me in the water. I mean, I was wrestling this thing and he biting us out of the boat. It was a deck boat, didn't even have no sides on it, and I'm in flip flops. And he's biting right there by my foot, and I'm trying not. He's pulling me to the edge, boy. And that guy, it had a float on the end of it. That guy said, "We usually let go of that." After everything was over, I said, "Well, now you tell me."
Now you tell me.
I thought I'd been on elliptical for about an hour. Boy, you talking about some cardio, the intenseness of it, and he was stout too. So it was. But that was. I'm glad I held on to it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing. I think. I mean, being in Tennessee, I mean, we have nothing like that around that we have to worry about. And uh, but I think that's something that I would want to do is just go out with somebody that's to be in the boat while they go and do that, because I think that'd be a pretty cool experience,
Yeah.
especially seeing them pull up a 10, 12 footer
Yeah,
and
this one was 10 that I caught.
yeah,
Well, Jeff actually hooked it, and you just do that so you know where he's at, and then you got to
right.
do gaff him and all that. But
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty
it wasn't bad
extensive.
eating.
Yeah, and because what gators, it has like the tail's white meat, and then everything from the base of the tail up is red meat, isn't it?
I don't really know. They just guy there cut it up and skinned it and
Right.
all that right there, and we cooked it right there, which didn't
Oh man.
taste like that stuff in the restaurant you order. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No, this is fresh. It's got a whole new taste to it.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
Now, what is I drove over the road for like 2.5 years, and every time that I went into Louisiana, I've had to stop, and I've eaten everywhere all over the country. But one of my favorite places or states is Louisiana. I have to stop and get something in Louisiana. What is it about that culture and stuff that, I mean, that food just is phenomenal.
No, no, everybody can cook.
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just like to put flour and a lot of spices on it and take off. Yeah, it's, it's good.
Yeah.
Fried
Yeah.
boudin and boudin.
Mm.
Man,
So
might cook some
now,
here in a minute.
now you said earlier that your dad taught you like how to track deer and squirrel. Now, Norman here, John, says that he is a country boy. And so I asked him, I said, have you ever had squirrel? And he said no. And I said, well, then you can't say you're a country boy if you've never had squirrel and gravy. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. And the brains, you got to eat the brains, squirrel brains.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
That'll make you smart. That's what Miss K does. You can't shoot a squirrel in the head and take it up there to Miss K. She'll chew you out.
Oh.
You get a tongue lashing for that.
Sorry, oh man, sorry, Miss K.
So, but yeah, I give him a hard time all the time because he'll always say that he's a country boy from Florida, and I'm like,
Rabbits.
if you have not had squirrel and even rabbit is
Yeah.
phenomenal
Squirrel and
too.
rabbits too.
Frog and like frog legs, you cook some
Yep.
frog legs up. You just make sure you put the lid on them because they'll hop right out of that skillet.
Yeah, it will. They'll jump out.
Yeah.
Oh will.
So, where has been your favorite place to go and fish? It doesn't have to be for crappie, but where's been your favorite place that you've been able to go and fish? Where has that been?
The fish. It has been crappie because I can go back, and that's one of the three lakes in Mississippi. Used to be four. The big four they used to call them: Sardis and Enid, Grenada, and Arcabutler. But the levee messed up. So it's drained or the dam or something jacked up anyway. Boy, I almost cried.
Hmm.
But yeah, doing that up there is pretty good. We got a friend up there, Les Smith on Sardis Lake, and boy, we can go up and stay at his place. We call it the Crappie Compound. He can keep a bunch of people, and we go up there and have a good old time.
Right,
But that's where I like to go up there because the fish are bigger. I don't
right,
understand either. Why because you know they just drain Darbone. They do it every 4 years, and you'll see on the internet them. people that, well, they letting all the fish out. They doing this, they doing that. But there ain't no way. I mean, they lower grenade them 4 lakes down to
Mhm.
nothing every
Right.
year, and they still catch 4 pound crappie out of it. So
Phew. That's a massive I
whatever
mean,
they're doing it right.
yeah.
So ain't
Yeah.
no ever once in every 4 years gonna hurt nothing.
Right.
Mm. So, have you ever crappie fished in like Central Florida, like on
Heck no, never in Florida. I
oh
want
man,
to. They got black crappie, and you talking about a long liner's dream. That's
yeah,
what they say. So I want to
they
come down there and do it.
yeah, we got a good friend of ours, Dennis Crenshaw, and he owns Lake Placid Fishing and Charter, and
Lake Placid freshwater charter and guide is
yeah, freshwater charter. Yeah, sorry, and but that's all he does is crappie fishing, and the crappie and stuff that he pulls out is phenomenal, just out of there, and
There's some big stuff
uh,
down there.
there there is. But speaking of crappie, I want to talk about a crappie tournaments and stuff like that. Um, how do they do crappie tournaments? Do you have a weigh in, or do they just measure the length, and do you have like a certain amount of, like, can you only have, like in bass you can only have five? Can you have more of a limit than five, or what is the limit?
Yeah, you can. Different tournaments are different. They really used to be 7. We weighed 7 fish, and you could have 8, but you could only bring 7 to the weigh-in. You know,
Right,
you keep one so in case one of them just has dies on you. But
right,
and they got tanks and they take them out, let them all go. They got to be alive.
right,
But they've gone to 5, especially in the hotter months, which
right,
ain't nothing wrong with that. It just don't look as good on the weight, when 5 crappie.
right. So,
And
what has been the biggest? What's been the biggest crappie that you have caught?
I caught a 296, almost 3. I'm still
Hmm,
after the 3.
hmm.
I've never caught a 3 pounder, but I've never
Man,
been able to fish like I'm fishing now.
right,
So I'm on the hunt.
right. So, when did you get into the duck calling?
Duck calling. A friend of ours, which he wasn't, well, this guy moved into our neighborhood and he duck hunted. And we just kind of got to talking, and we was all riding. I used to race motocross. I still have my motorcycles in. We'd ride behind the levee, and I just got to be friends with that. And he duck hunted. Then he invited us to go duck hunting with him. And so we went, and it was pretty awesome. I'd never experienced anything like that, because you didn't have to be quiet until you seen the ducks. And man, he'd call like on that duck call, and them ducks would answer him back, and the hair on the back of my head had just stood up. I said, I have got to learn this because he was making them come down to where we was at, and it was
Man,
awesome. And so I played trumpet in junior high, and got well in the 6th grade. I started tinkering around with it, and went into junior high with 7th, 8th, and 9th back then, and played it all through there. So it's air control. So I had air control from playing the trumpet, and I picked it up pretty quick. Matter of fact, we went to these local duck calling contests around in these sporting goods stores, but this one was like pretty good size when it was in a high school gym, and we went up there. And this matter of fact, the first time I ever met Phil. Uh, he was there, and so we was going to watch my buddy in that calling contest. Well, we sat down out in the audience, and uh, Daddy bumped me on the shoulder. He said, "You better go warm up." I said, "Warm up for what?" He said, "I entered you." I said, "Well, what you want to do something like that for?" "Oh, you can do it. Go do it." And boy, I know there was like a long tail cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I went back there and we come back and sat down waiting for him to do stuff, And Daddy asked me, he said, "What was he blowing? Was he blowing that duck commander call?" I said, "No, that thing sounds like crap." And when I said that, this guy was sitting in front of us. He turned around. He said, "My name's Phil Robertson. I build those calls. Could I look at it?" And he messed around with it a little bit and gave it back to me. And it was user operator problem. It wasn't a duck call. But I was blowing. I learned on a keyhole. Oh, I wished I had that thing. But a guy around here that cut down duck calls, and he cut it down for me, and that's what I blew and got third place. So in my
That is awesome.
test, so that was the first time I insulted my boss. The first time I ever met him.
There ain't no better way to do it. Yeah, I like the fact. Hold on, I got actually on. This was my grandpa's that he
Wow.
would use when he would go, and I gotta hide this from my nephew because I've got a crow call that I picked up from the Bassmaster Classic when it was in Knoxville. And so every time that he comes over, he has to blow that crow call. He loves blowing that crow call. And he's seen that one, and I said, "Nope, that one. That one is. It's actually. Let's see. This is actually a goose call, and what is it? J.C. Higgins, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's the old one.
yeah, and so he that was what he would use when he would go. He done all kinds of bird hunting and stuff like that, and when he died, I think he had maybe 5 or 6 of the bands and stuff, and so that was one
Right.
thing that he had on just a little leather little strap, and when he passed away, they put the bands in his hand and stuff. So, but I got one of his calls. So, um, but yeah, they uh, let's see, what is it? What is one of your favorite memories of just being out in the outdoors that maybe from childhood or maybe that just recently that is something that has stuck with you? What is a memory or a story um, that sticks with you being outdoors?
Yeah, just being out there with Dad and uh, just them young memories I had. Killing my first deer, that was boy, I got a butt whooping over that. And I shot 2 of them, but but he,
Shouldn't have been around.
yeah, but he told me if you shoot, don't get out of your deer stand. And so, boy, I done started getting hot. It was 12 gauge shotgun, but double off buck. And he told me the bucks will be behind the does. So 2 deer, I mean, they wasn't, I bet you they wasn't 20 yards, closer than that probably. So I shot the back one, but they didn't have horns. And boy, I shot that back one, boom, it hit the ground. Now, then just turned around and looked, and it wouldn't do nothing. Boom, I shot that. And that, first, that first one jumped up, took off. Boom, I shot at him again. That's why I done got so excited and hot. And boy, it was a big, he had a flame orange jacket. He went to Colorado and it was a big one. Well, that thing was just swallowed me. I took that thing off, throwed it on the ground, down that stand I went. I went over where that deer was. I had its head in my lap. I was petting it. and I heard something running through the woods. John, I said, I'm over here, Daddy. He got over and he said, shut them cover off. I told you not to get out of. I hate it when he talked and that same thing. Yeah, he moved, but I killed another the next day. He told me I wasn't hunting the rest of the week.
But you stayed in the stand though, didn't you?
I stacked them. I didn't move. I don't want even. I won't even move when we're duck hunting in the duck blind, and Chase goes against the boat. I don't even move or unload my shotgun till I hear that motor crank up. When I hear that motor crank up, I start gathering
Yeah.
my stuff up. But I ain't no, I ain't moving. I ain't getting another butt whooping. No, not me.
So, that I could just imagine,
Yeah.
and I don't know what would feel bad or even worse. I mean, a butt whooping from my dad or a butt whooping from Phil. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't know
Oh,
what.
yeah. No.
So, uh,
But
oh me,
seeing her too, hunting with Paula, it's been pretty special.
yeah.
For her, that she said, I can't believe I waited till I was 50 to like deer hunting. I said, well, I've been trying to get you to go. Oh, she sees them. You know what? You drive down the highway and you say, oh, look, honey, there's a deer. Now she's telling me where they're at.
She's saying them before
Oh,
you
yeah.
are. She's got
But-
the bug for sure.
So it's pretty cool to see all that and very enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does your kid share the same love for the outdoors?
Oh, yeah. She'll poke a hole in one.
So, um, let's see. Now, have you ever gone metal detecting with Jason Jet?
I have not. I hadn't been on that yet. I've been on one of the shows, but I ain't went over there and done no finding that. They find pretty neat stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah, I when I have when I'm in the living room and stuff like that, and I've got it on my laptop, and I'll just work, and I'll just have it playing in the background, and it's funny to hear just how like excited and stuff. It could be just it could be like just a little button and that they find and they get so excited and stuff. But they have
I
found
don't know
some
what
interesting stuff.
they found a
So,
meteorite. I don't know if
oh
it's
yeah,
8 foot
uh,
deep.
yeah,
Murray
that was
built
crazy. They
that.
had the excavator out there
Yeah,
digging
Murray
it.
built that special. Boy, he's a tinker. 'Cause he's the one that come out with the motion decoy.
Really,
Yeah,
you
spin it
say that,
when
and I remember. It may have been the first episode when they were introducing him that they said that. I do remember that now. That is, yeah,
Murray Crow.
yeah.
He's a long
Now, do it
he's a long distance shooter too. Right.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. He's a man of many traits, and some
He
of
is.
the stuff that he builds is phenomenal. And I mean, I couldn't even fathom to even think about some of the stuff that he has built. And I mean, I could probably build it, but it would not work.
Yeah, boat fall off or something. Didn't use enough.
Right. So, well, John, we've had you on for over an hour, brother, and we don't want to hold up your time, and
We
especially if
just
you're going to go.
that was just the introduction.
Oh yeah. So, but and you are an hour behind us, so you still have a little bit of time to make that boudin. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's made. I
so
just got to chunk it on the grill.
oh man, man,
I'm out there. I got to finish tying up because I'm going fishing in the morning.
oh,
I got to. It's my job now.
yeah, yeah. Now, how can I do want to give you the opportunity for a couple things? One, how can people follow you and be able to keep up with like what you're doing, um, and then uh, and then second, I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about your sponsors and stuff because we know just as well as you that I mean we couldn't be doing a lot of the stuff that we do if it was not for the sponsors
Oh, you're
and
exactly
what they
right.
do for us.
Yep.
Um, if you could answer that for us,
My sponsors.
yes,
Where you
sir.
can find me on Instagram, Godwin316. Uh, I'm trying to think. Facebook's just John Godwin. I got a fan page and a regular page. I do most of my stuff posting on my fan page. And I started a YouTube channel. It's just John Godwin, but I hadn't really done a lot with it. But I'm
Right,
fixing to start. I'm fixing to have more. This stuff is like a job in itself. But
it is.
But since I'm gonna have more time now, I'm gonna spend more time to help my sponsors for cornfield fishing gear. Man, they giving me a lot of stuff, mounts and knobs and God, you name it, all kind of cup holders. And if you got a 10 boat, they can make something for you. I promise you.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Oh,
any
I
boat,
guarantee.
any
Any
boat.
boat, yeah.
If they ain't got it, they'll make it. You just say, "Hey, I want this," and they got them CNC machines. I mean, right there in Kentucky, it's crazy
Yeah.
Yeah.
what they can do. But B&M, I just come out with a new pole. Do you know that? Godwin
No.
Gas.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I
Maybe
remember seeing that. Where did I see that? Was it on Instagram? It may have been on Instagram where I
man.
seen that.
Yeah. So it's doing well,
Yeah.
and they got a combo and just a rod. And I've been using that
Right.
reel on the combo, and it's done. It's been fine.
Yeah.
Wheeler said it'd make a good wacky worm rod.
And
Just
if anybody would know, he would know.
I was just showing
So
him to show him, and he whipped it up.
yeah.
That do wacky worm. Uh, it's stiff. It's got a good backbone where I can boat flip them 2 pounders, but it's got a real fast tip on it, so I can throw quarter ounce or
The
30
light, yeah, the
ounce
lightweights.
equal
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. So and then crappie magnet. We can't
crappie
forget crappie
magnet.
magnet.
Yeah, crappie magnet. That's my soft plastics. They make a great product. Jeff, his son Lane are great people. I love him
Yeah.
people. And sniping braid, I use sniping braid. They come out with that asteroid. It's got a darker color, and boy, it's super small diameter. It's actually 10 pound test. It is tricky.
Really.
It's just small. I tell you, when I can't tie a loop knot on my jigs because it'll come out, the eye hole. You got to tie because I like to tie a loop knot so your jigs dangle more active. Looks more real. But
Right.
anyway, sniping braid, they make a real great. They just come out with a bass line. Sure did. Bass braid. It's green.
Really.
And yeah, and let's
The
see who else.
extreme.
Yep. Sniping braid. Uh, hook and bullet sunglasses, PBO, personal built, purpose built optics. We use them for looking at our screens. They got a
Right.
Light Pro that lets you. It don't. You can look at it from over to the side or something. It ain't got no. It don't black out on you. Or
Wow.
get dim. You know how to get
That's
dim. Won't do that.
yeah.
And so they've been really good. Really good. They're light. They're made out of plastic, so you get a bullet weight or a jig, it won't shatter on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Millennium seat.
Yeah.
You just about go to sleep in them when you're fishing. They're so comfortable. Them things are awesome.
Yeah.
Millennium Marine, yeah. Sea Arc boats, God, man, that's a ship. That ain't a boat. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
96-inch beam on it. I can fish all three of us across the front.
Wow.
It's pretty
And
good.
those and I've never fished out of one, but I've seen quite a few of them, and uh, and the people that I know that have one, they they are surprised or with how well that it actually rides in rough water.
I
Um,
got air ride seats in mine too, boy. I'm just
well, I was talking to somebody, and we were on Chickamauga, and we were having 20-25 mile an hour winds, and we were having probably 2.5, 3 foot rollers and coming across, and with being a truck driver, I'm like, man, because having them air rides in them trucks awful nice. But I got
yeah,
to thinking, I was like, man, could you imagine if somebody put uh like the air ride seats in these boats? I mean, I was thinking just people just flying over the gunnel with the air ride, and I was with somebody. I can't remember who I was with, but they said they do have air ride. A
yeah.
lot of these newer boats do
21,
have air
21
ride.
foot flex. That's what I got.
Yeah,
Sea Art Flex. It's got them, and they are nice.
man.
Yeah. The
So,
performance fishing electronics. This guy does a lot of electronic work. He does something where it pops up bottom and fish on the bottom. You can see them, and
right,
yeah. But I got the brakes, the two trolling motors on my Raptors. I got Raptors shallow water anchor
right.
for when we're
Yep.
using the forward facing, and you can just look for if you're in a tournament, you got 8 hours, you ain't got to catch but seven. So you got that trolling motor on about five, and you just take it off, scanning. When you see one, you got to stop. So I got them trolling motors on them Raptors. You hit that stomp switch and go out there and try to catch him. Hope he'll bite.
Yeah. Now, and which the bass has this next year, they've eliminated. You cannot have those on their the power poles or on the Raptors or whatever. Uh, but talking to some of the elite anglers that had it on there, and they were talking about how well, I mean, like how it helps you with being able to set yourself up to be able to make the cast that you're wanting to make and from the angle that you're wanting to make. Um, and then just like what you were talking about was, well, if I see a bass or something like that and I need to stop, I don't need to have the boat go right up on top of it. It
Mm-mm.
allows you to stop and stay
You got
off
to
of the way
turn
you
that
can make that
trolling
cast.
motor. Yeah, you have to turn the trolling motor around, and then you got that washout, and it'll go by that
Yeah,
stump and just spook him off. Yeah.
blow them out. Yeah,
But talking
yeah.
about
You might
people
as
that trolling motor all the time is Pro Guide batteries. That's
well.
what I run them lithium. I got my I got everything on my cranking battery. Everything, the aerator, all the, but I got that big wire, which helps your,
Right,
that's the number one thing on, you see all these pictures about these graphs being so clear. It's because they got a special big wire powering everything going to the battery.
right,
So all my electronics has the what is it, six or eight, whichever the biggest one is, and
right.
so that's what I do. It's that marine wire with a bunch of strands in it.
Yeah.
Correct,
I got them
correct.
all going to my cranking battery. And one time I fished, I was long lining all day. I was long lining, catching them, and then I wanted to do some. So I put that trolling motor on 10. I was crossing this over to where I was going to fish, and everything went out. I said, "Good night." I don't know what happened. I said, "I done run this battery down that long," and I went back there, and it's got a button on that battery. You hold it down for 5 seconds, and it's like a cranking a jump start,
Right.
and
Right,
you can jump everything. So you ain't left out there in the middle of the water without no way to get back. So that was
Right.
pretty
right.
awesome. That
Now,
really,
how long will those lithium batteries last?
I ain't run them down yet. Oh, you talking about, yeah, for like trolling, I'll charge it
Mm,
up about every 3 days.
Wow.
right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And because I know, like, sometimes, like, on crappie fishing, I know that, like, we could get to where on Chickamauga and stuff. I don't know if you've ever fished on Chickamauga,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a lot of docks and stuff like that. So when we're crappie fishing or even bass fishing and stuff, like, I love fishing docks and stuff. And uh, when you're fishing the docks, you really don't use the trolling motor as much. But when we're going in between docks, that we will. And I mean, we cover a lot of ground just with the trolling motor. And if especially if we're out there 8-10 hours, about that 8 hour mark, that trolling motor is struggling just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Get you
So
some of them pro guides. Them
pro
baby
guides with you. Yeah, I'll
Yep.
have to look them up. So
Pretty
is
good.
is there anything that uh like from your sponsors and stuff that you are looking forward to being able to use this year? Which I know, excuse me, most of the time, like, you, whatever they come out before it hits the public, that y'all already have it in your hands and able to use it for at least a year or almost a year or whatever. Is there something that the public can be able to get that's from your sponsors that you're looking forward to being able to utilize this year?
Uh, just my rod. That's the only one. Of course, Mark's the cornfish fishing gear is always coming out with neat stuff. But uh,
Right.
got some new baits from Jeff coming out. A bigger crappie magnet, and it's gonna be that's gonna be pretty good. And
Yeah.
that new roo he's got, that thing is, but it's out, but it's doing good. I'm catching a lot of fish on it right now, and just a rod right now, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. I was using B&M before I partnered with them. Of course, Duck Commander partnered with them, but I was using their stuff, so it's pretty easy when you're already using the stuff
Yeah.
and know it's a good product.
Right. Now, where can people get your rods from?
You can get it from bnm.com or I think Bass Pro, Cabela's. Walmart's going to have it this spring. Tackle Warehouse, I believe, is going to get it. And a lot of your mom and pop stores have it, your favorite
Right.
mom and pop
Okay.
stores.
Right. Right.
Sounds good. Well, let's see. What I enjoy listening to your stories and stuff, so I want to see if I can get one more out of you. Um, what is the funniest moment that you've had with? Let's just say everybody loves Psy, so we got to throw in another Psy story. If you can throw in another Psy story.
Side story. Well, I got one for you. Hey, we sponsored that Texas Motor Speedway race, the spring
Right.
race
Yeah.
at
Yep.
Texas NASCAR. Well, they allowed us to have a souvenir trailer there too. And we were there and we were signing autographs, me and Si. And it was a Friday and the truck race was going on. But we were signing and this guy come up to us. He said, my name's, I don't forgot his name. He said, I'm Richard Petty's handler and he wants to meet you guys. And I said, well, we still signing here. He said, you got 10 minutes. So he was telling me everything we was fixing to do. I said, yeah, we can go when we get through. We went in there and my wife went, Si went. I think Martin was there too. He went and we was all in his coach back there. I call it the Holy Land. They got a fence around all the coaches back there where the drivers stay. And we went in there and him and Si talked. They got through talking about one thing. They done got on that movie, Cops, that show Cops. Both of them watched it. They was talking about episodes. So then his handler told him, said, look, we got to go. You got a meeting over here. And So he ripped some paper out of the printer and got Si to sign him some autographs. We left. We got on the golf cart, and Si looked at me. He said, "I always wanted to meet that Earnhardt fella." I said, "Si, that was Richard Petty." I said, "Earnhardt's been dead 10 years." Well, I get them mixed up.
Oh goodness.
Oh man, that's funny.
That is funny.
They wasn't going to let
So,
him bring his tea. We had to go up to the suite. They wasn't going to let him bring his tea on the elevator. He said, "Well, you need to call somebody because I'm taking this tea." They said, "No, sir, you're not." I had to call the Texas Motor Speedway people. Finally, they come up there and they said, "Yeah, you can go. You can go." Yeah, I'm taking it. He drinks a gallon of tea a day, and when it's gone, he's gone. So them film crew always kept a little bit in there.
to top it off.
Yeah, you never run out.
So yeah.
Yeah.
A guy named Rodney Clayton, he's a friend of ours. He said, I ran into Godwin at the Chattanooga airport. He was a very nice guy. And so,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know
up
when
there.
that.
I was speaking. That's why I don't fish many tournaments because I do a lot of speaking, with the beach fish and stuff like that. And I was up
Yeah.
there. I forget what town, but I was fishing. The preacher took me fishing, and we went long lining, and we smoked them. I don't know where I was, but Wheeler said I wasn't far from his house, wherever I was at.
Oh, then you was on Chickamauga. Yeah.
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 So, I do want to ask a question because I know that it's very important um, to you and to all the guys at the Duck Dynasty and stuff, and to me. But I want to know like how important is in your life and stuff is your walk with God and your faith and stuff. How important is it as a daily basis on the your walk with God?
What other chance you got?
That's it.
You
Yeah.
got you got to have it. I wasn't when I run up on him. I wasn't even looking for him. I mean, I wasn't ready for these holy rollies. I didn't want nothing to do with them. Uh, we just adopted our daughter, and Paula said we need to visit churches, and I'm like, for what? She said, well, we just need to start acting better. I said, for what? I ain't acting bad. Work,
Yeah.
shift work, or come home. I don't go to the bars no more. So,
Right.
and run up on a friend, and he kept trying to get me to go to church, and Miss Paula wanted to go to church, and boy, both of them just kept hounding me, and so we finally, I said, I'm gonna go because duck season was coming up. I went to he slicked me into coming to his house. He always wanted a bunch of land anyway. He just got it, and he wanted 50 acres because he's a horse rodeo guy.
Right.
And he said, we're going to cook hamburgers. Come on out Sunday. I said, Mike. So I went out there to show you my place. I went out there, and there was a bunch of church folks there. I was madder than a wet hen. They was out. The pastor had a fire. They was having house church. And but his daddy was cooking the hamburgers. He's one of my drinking buddies. I got up there to get, we putting beer in cups so them church folks wouldn't see us. But he kept wanting me to come listen, come get in the middle, come. I was like, nah, I appreciate it. I don't, you slicked me, but no thank you. When I left. Well, it wasn't long after that. Phil was there doing the lesson. That's how I knew Phil went to his church. I said, I'm going to go to his church because duck season's coming up and make Miss Paula happy and get me a duck call. He's going to introduce me to Phil, and I'm going to get me a duck call. So that's what I did. I kept going to kill me two birds with one stone. I got down there, and he introduced me. He said, bring him down to the house. I went down to the house. First thing he asked me was, what are you doing down here, Godwin? You been messing up? And it was Phil Robertson, so I didn't want to lie to him. I said, no. He said, yeah, you have. He said, that's why you're here. And I'm like, he said, what year is it? It was 1996 then. He said, it's 1996 AD, Anno Domini, year of our Lord. We're counting time by him. This Jesus. You heard of him, ain't you? I said, yeah, I've heard of him. I know, I went to church when I was a kid, so, I kind of know there's something bigger than us out there. And he said, you right. I said, he loved you so much that he became human and came down here and dwelt among us so we would understand that he understands. Lived a good life. He told them who he was. They nailed him to a cross. Perfect
Yeah.
sacrifice for sin. He said, you've sinned, ain't you? I said, I just looked at the ground. He said, what'd you do Saturday night? I said, yeah, I sinned. He said, well, be honest. He said, he died and then they put him in a tomb and buried him. And on the third day, he rose to show us that death ain't going to have a hold on us neither. He
Yeah.
said, so he said, that's how much he loved you. He come down here just to die for you, get tortured, get beat, and all that. He said, but I'd never heard nothing like that. I always heard you got to act right, you got to do this, or you going to hell. And
Yeah.
I,
Hailstone or Brent. So.
yeah, I never thought about a guy that loves you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking. He said, look, he said, we got three problems as human beings. We got a sin problem. We can't do nothing about it. We got a death problem. You believe you're going to die? I said, yeah. I think everybody dies. He said, we got a weakness problem. Once we get in Jesus, we still going to mess up. We're just human. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
That's why he came down here. And he said, so you got to repent. If you want to get in Jesus, you got to repent. You just quit acting like you acting now and try to act better. He said, you ever just tried to act good? And I kind of thought, I said, no, I ain't never just tried to be good. You can try, can't you? I said, I could try. He said, you make a profession of faith. Jesus is Lord. He said, you know why you do that? I said, no. He said, because you're denouncing the Lord your Father and now Satan and acknowledging the one true Lord. I said, when you do that, it's just like him hanging on the cross. And
Mm.
bury you in a watery grave, and you come up to a new life just like he came up. You're reenacting the death, burial, and resurrection, what he did for you.
Yeah.
He said, everything's forgotten, never to be brought up again, and the blood that he shed covers everything you're going to do. It's called grace. Well, I'd never heard this mess. I didn't know what to
Mhm.
do with it. He said, you got a Bible at home? And this is what got me. I said, yeah, I think there's one on the shelf, which is literally like, I've thought about this. There's a lot of people don't go to church, but they got a Bible.
Mhm.
So why?
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
don't believe in him, why they got them anyway? That's another, I'm
Yeah.
going down a rabbit hole.
Well, I told you we go down some rabbit holes.
He said, lock your door, so won't nobody see you reading your Bible. He said, and read Luke and Acts and get back to me. Because I want you to see that what I'm telling you is true. I don't want you. You need to check me out because I don't put
Yeah.
your faith in me. Put your faith in God. And
Yeah.
so when I got to the end of Luke in that last chapter, they done killed him, and all his running buddies done running this upper room. And 12 apostles, they locked the door, because they're scared they fixing to get it. They persecuting Christians. Well, he just appeared to them just right there in the room. It scared them to death. Which I'd just watch you die. I'd be scared too if you just popped up
Mhm.
beside me one day. He said, I'm not a ghost. He said, touch me. A ghost
Yeah.
don't have flesh and bone like you see I have.
Mm-mm.
And he asked for something pretty good. He said, I'm hungry. Y'all got any fish? It was probably crappie. Because
Probably was.
you throw them old bass on the bank, the coons walk around them, they won't even eat them. So there's two things I got out of that. They recognized him. He got his body back. Changed, but not exchanged. I'm going to be
Exactly.
me. You going to be you. We're going to know each other. Heaven's going to be awesome. And there's
Yep.
going to be fish fries in heaven. So I'm in.
I, I, and I'm telling you, I'm ready right there for it with you. And one day when that happens, and that'd be great to be able to break bread and just talk with you about it. So I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be something
You
else.
remember
So
when we was on that podcast?
that's
Boy, look
that.
at life now.
Yeah. So, and another thing that that I'm waiting on. I mean, the older I get, I was 14 years of catching, and
Mm.
I'm telling you, my knees and hips and stuff like that. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I ache all the time, and when that day comes, I won't even have to worry about that no more.
Mm.
It's
No,
but yeah, I appreciate you telling us that because I mean it
I ain't got
is
none
to
now.
now and especially how the world is now. I mean, we need God in this country more than anything right now,
We done forgot.
and how things are going, and things that like happened here yesterday down in
No,
y'all's neck of the woods. I mean, we
Vegas, too.
yeah in Vegas, and then what was it the Trump building where they had that car blow up in front of the Trump
Yeah.
building, and so this world's crazy, and if you don't have the good Lord in your heart and all that, I mean, it's just going to get crazier and crazier. And if you don't have Him leading your way, it's going to be a rough road to hoe.
I know. I
So
don't see how people do it without God.
no, mm-mm.
You get a family,
So
I mean, somebody gets sick, there's like a buffet shows up to their house. Everybody
yeah,
checking on everybody. It's just a deeper family sometimes than you can.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but man, Godwin, you're something else. Every time I've been able to talk to you, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I come out laughing and with just some of the stories that you've told, and then just the experiences and stuff that you have had in your life is just been phenomenal, and you being open enough to be able to talk about some of the stuff, and I know a lot of people, again, they recognize you from Duck Dynasty, so they want to talk about the Duck Dynasty guys and
Yeah.
stuff, and which we wanted to hit on that a
Everybody's just
little
like
bit.
seeing.
Yeah, but we wanted people to know Godwin for Godwin. I mean, you're not just a Duck Dynasty. You're not just a television star.
No,
You are Godwin
ain't got our.
on that TV. Yeah,
They
and
asked me all
so
the time, "Do you fly here in your plane?" I said, "My name starts with G, not R."
so, but we've had you on for an hour and a half, brother, and I don't want to hold you up anymore.
Well, I figured
And
we'd get you up to the time.
yeah, and we will. I'm looking forward to April to be able to see you
Yeah,
and
y'all
talk to
going
you.
to demo days?
Yeah.
We're gonna be
You
there,
gonna
and
like?
so
You gonna eat good?
and oh, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. I'm a fat
We're
guy,
gonna
so
fish too. That's gonna be
but
just right to catch them fish on in the back of them creeks.
Yeah.
that's one thing that I wanna try to do. I definitely would love to wet a line with you and
Well,
be
don't
and share
try,
a
just
deck of
get
the
in the
boat.
boat.
I'm going to do it. You don't have to ask me twice. I'm going to be right there. You don't even have to ask me, Godwin. I'm going to be right there. I'm going to be waiting on you, saying I'm ready.
You want me
So,
to try? Okay.
so, but Godwin, we got one question that we ask everybody that comes on here, and we are not going to leave you out of this question. And Norman, take it away, brother.
Awesome, Godwin. We really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a blessing just to be able to talk with you for the last hour and a half. And man, like Colin says, the stories you just have is some of them is just so funny and hilarious. But we really appreciate it. And once again, also remember April 25th and 26th. Mark that on your calendar if you're watching tonight, watching us live, and mark it on your calendar. Uh, Cornfield Fishing Demo Days. Come out and visit us. Godwin will be there. Myself and Colin will be there, and we're looking forward to that. Remember, catch us next week every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our guest next week is going to be Major League Fishing Pro, Bass Pro Tour Pro. Andy Montgomery is going to be joining the show next week, so make sure to catch that show. It's going to be another amazing show. But Godwin, if you were to have one person to be able to fish with for the day on your boat, and this person could be passed away or still with us, who would that person be that you want to fish with for the day, and why would you want to fish with them?
I got a couple of them I'd like to fish with. My dad, I'd like to fish with him just because he's gone now and everything he done for me. It's always fun to beat him fishing.
Yeah.
He beats me a lot of times. But I'd like to have Dad in the boat for a day
That's
again.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, that's
He tells me, all that stuff, them electronics, that's cheap. I said, don't talk with your mouth full and pass the ketchup.
So, man, John, man, I appreciate it, and
Yep.
Norman and I both appreciate you coming
Yes,
on
sir.
here, and it's an honor to have you on here. And again, it's always enlightening to be able to have you and to be able to talk to you, if it's on this podcast or if it's an iCast on the floor. You've always given us the time to some Tennessee and Florida boys. You just let us just chit chat with you, and you never seem to be in a hurry to kind of get us out of your way. And so we appreciate it, John. And
Well, you can't. That's one thing we said. We can't forget where we came from
yeah,
or who we
so
belong to.
yeah. So, guys, we have almost 1,500 people on here live. Go smash the follow button and the like button on all of Godwin's, and we'll put a link in the description to all of his social media
And his guide service as well. We'll put on there as well.
well, correct. And if you are a crappie fisherman, which it's gotten the Wheeler approval, I'm going to just go on and say it, Godwin. That rod has got the Wheeler approval for a wacky rig. So if you throw a wacky rig or you are a crappie fisherman, go snatch up those the Godwin rods. And what's the name of them again?
Godwin
B&M.
Crappie Cat. Oh, the B&M, yeah.
B&M, yeah.
V&M. So so go check them out. Go grab you. It's time. I mean, it's new year, new gear. Let's go rack up on some crappie rods and go smash some crappies, guys. But
I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
So we thank you so much, Godwin, and guys, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for next week. And John, if you could stay on just for a second after we get off of here. But again, we appreciate you, and let's start this year off with a bang. And we got it rolling with old Godwin on here, and we will see you next week, guys. Live the passion.
Live the passion.